Hey, what's up YouTube? Chris Gardiner here, and today I'm going to show you how I work with the JPEG photos from my DJI Mini 2 and with the automated panorama capture and turn that into about a 47 megapixel photo here. So let's get started. First we're going to grab our photos, drag them in, and we are starting with this screen here. I might be in expert interface, as you can tell right here. If you're not in there, that's just up here. Simple, advanced, expert. First things first, now pick your subject. Right now I'm directly over the house that I was shooting, and so I want that exposure to be kind of where the rest of the picture has to fit into. So we're going to find our important, yeah, that's pretty close. Let's see. There. Anchor for exposure. And we want one somewhat level for position, so that's good. Anchor for position. And this will just do its thing. We'll probably fast forward through this. Let's go. There we go. We see 1590 control points added. That's pretty close to the number I always get with these panoramas. So go ahead, hit OK. Now it doesn't have positions for these images yet, so we want to calculate those as well. And I do everything in separate steps because it lets me figure out if anything went wrong in any particular place. So I like to use position, view, and barrel. I found it works the best in my tests, my brief tests that I've done. And this is just basically the number, the size of the pixels, distance. So the optimizer has finished running for the positions of the pictures, and these are pretty good numbers. These are measured in pixels, so 1 and 2 pixels on a 46 megapixel image are not going to be extremely noticeable. So let's go ahead and apply those changes. And lastly, this is an automated shooting process from the Mini 2, which doesn't shoot RAWs. These are all JPEGs, and it's only one shot per position. So we have low dynamic range, and it is giving us a variable white balance because it doesn't seem to lock the settings for each shot. So we're just going to go ahead and calculate the photometric, which is just kind of the color and overall exposure, kind of continuity between a full 360 image. Alright, so the optimization has finished. I'm just going to go ahead and hit yes. Now we should be able to actually see a version of our panorama for the first time, and that looks pretty wonky. We're going to go straight away to move and drag. Okay. What we have here is a black area where the drone can't shoot because up around here would be shooting its own body, the airframe. And that's okay. We can fix this stuff up. So what we're happy with is that this looks like it all makes sense. Sometimes it will look pretty obviously out of whack, and we may have to go back a few steps. So I think we've done a pretty good job of leveling that. This would be our center line, this one right here, and we want to make sure our real horizon is as close to that line as possible. I also use up here to judge if all of these tend to be at the same line or ever so slightly above it, as they are in this case. Then I also treat that as pretty good level panorama. But this line will depend on the shooting conditions. If you're windy, it may not always be so cut and dry with that one. Let's close out of this part. This is the assistant fast panorama preview. We don't do a lot of work in there, and we go to Stitcher here. Now calculate optimal size. It goes up to 46 megapixels here, 2:1 aspect ratio, so it's a true 360 by 180 field of view photo. And we have all that sorted. We're going to stitch it. We got to save it, it's telling us. And we're going to call it, I've already done this one, of course, when it was a real project. And we're going to call that 3. There we go. And we'll save it again. And we'll call that one 20 for YouTube for you. By the way, this is the first video I am recording with the new Rode NT USB mini microphone, I think it is. Let me know if you think it sounds clear. It's definitely easier for me to work into these fast video tutorials I like to do. I've got Photoshop ready to go here. As soon as this is done, we are going to do some finishing steps in Photoshop. All right, there we go. We got a batch successfully completed here. Let's close out of this, And here we are in Photoshop. I've got an action I've made preloaded, and it is just going to, pretty well do a good job of filling this in automatically. I think it does a better job than the auto stitching I've seen in some previous models. I actually don't even know what DJI recommends you do with photos from this if you're not following my directions. I also haven't read the instructions on that, but here I like this this method better. Anyways, let's go ahead, hit play on this, and we'll see what happens. Boom, look at that, not bad. So we've got a little lift to brightness, lift to the colors, and as you can see, it was smart enough to kind of utilize more of what was down here up here. Now we could call that a saved photo. We're going to go straight to JPEG, and we're going to call this upload. There we go, high quality, we like that. Minimize it now, and over here, all right, and over here is our photo. We've got in here, we're in Windows 10 Pro, and one easy way, sometimes if you upload it just like this, it may not always load into 360 capable websites without changing some of the metadata. Now there's probably better ways to do this now, but this is definitely fast and easy. So Ricoh Theta S. And the reason why I do that is because I think Ricoh Theta S was among one of the first really widely available consumer 360 cameras, and so a lot of things with older programming, maybe, or simpler programming, seem to recognize this as a 360 photo every time if that's in the metadata. I found that with many times when I'm having a problem in the past. It's just as easy as changing these two things. Now I'll show you how that actually came out. Sorry, that's not the one. It's a different one. So now you see here, this is on Kula. They have free hosting of 360 photos, and as you can see, here is one. I did a few other adjustments. Added a little waypoint pin to show where we are, show a street nearby, and see if I put anything else. Yeah, so there we go. And that is how you can take a pretty easy consumer-friendly product like the Mavic or the DJI Mini 2 and get a 360 photo from it that looks pretty good, and as you can see, that's pretty darn sharp. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you hung out till the end, trying to bring you some more content soon. Thanks for watching.